Sally, my 13-year-old daughter has already had sex. She drinks, she uses drugs.
Leave me alone,
She
Mom.
picks fights with me all the time. And when I threatened to spank her, she called the cops on me and told them I was abusing her.
She's crazy. Come to my
I
house.
feel trapped. I don't know what to do.
Sally, my daughter was just 13 when she started skipping school, staying home, and having sex. Things have gotten worse. She loves to fight. She's even attacked me. One time she attacked me so badly. I never thought I'd see the day I was afraid of my own daughter.
Sally, my 13-year-old daughter punches me, kicks me, but the last straw was when she beat her brother so badly that his heart stopped beating. I had to give him CPR to save his life. I've actually went to court to see if I could get a divorce from my own child.
I want to read you a quote. It says, quote, "You might say there's bad news and then there's really bad news. The really bad news is the worst is yet to come," end quote. Now that was said by the Dean of the Criminal Justice System at Boston's Northeastern University. What he's talking about is violence among our teenagers. Today you're going to hear from mothers who say that without warning, the children turn into violent, wild teenagers who won't listen to authority and are ruining their lives and their families' lives. I want you to meet Linda. She's here because she says she cannot control her 15-year-old daughter, Christina, who's waiting backstage. Linda says things have gotten so bad she has actually had to have her daughter arrested. How did things get this bad?
I don't know. She's just out of control. She wants to beat up everybody. She wants to run away. She wants to control her life as an adult. She don't want to go by any rules or regulations or anything like that. She's beat up her baby brother. He almost broke her neck, as her dad said. She's beat up my son. I've got a 13-year-old son. She's hurt my girlfriend's son.
She reacts violently to everything?
Everything. If she doesn't get her way, she's completely out of control. I mean, she'll tell you, if she doesn't get her way, she'll make your life miserable. She's threatened to kill me before. She's got. I had to have her arrested due to the fact that she beat the crap out of me.
How did she? Tell me about that.
Well, she was getting ready to move out to her dad's house because I agreed to let her move, and she was taking a bunch of pictures and a bunch of stuff of mine. I asked her for it back, and she said no. And I said, "I'll go and leave your room if you give me the stuff back." And then she started pushing, and we started fighting. And my husband pulled us apart, and then I called the police, because that's the only way anyone said they could help me is if I had her arrested. And I wanted to get help for her before she got out of hand, and she's gotten so out of hand. I love my daughter, and I want her to be with me. But she's so far distance from me. She wants to abuse everything.
How long has she been this way?
I'd say about real bad just here in the last year. But it was off and on, like a little bit of trouble. About
And you've
2
had her
years.
live with other people?
Yeah, she's lived at 3 other places. She lived a month with her dad, and he couldn't. It was between his marriage and her, and he's got other children, and he was scared for them, so he sent her back home. He lived with my girlfriend. She did the same thing, abused her son. She wouldn't mind. She wouldn't go to school. She stole, so she had to come back home. She went and lived with my brother-in-law. She did the same thing. They couldn't control her. So she moved back home again. We got counseling. She was okay while she was on probation. Once she got off all that, she's back in trouble again. And she don't care what anybody says.
Counseling didn't work?
Yes, it did. She was going to it. But once she stopped, I mean, court quit, and she's off probation, we quit. She started all back up again.
Does she live with you now?
No, she
Where's
moved
she?
away from me Friday. She said that if she didn't move, she was going to make my life miserable. So I had nothing to do. You know, she wants to divorce me when she turns 16. She don't want me no part of her life.
Does she have a curfew?
All I asked of her was to go to school And she didn't have to work or anything. I let her run every other day from the time she got out of school till 10 o'clock on the weekdays until 11 or 12 on the weekends. And that's all I wanted to do was go to school and, you know, mind me a little bit at home. She wouldn't do it. She kept skipping school.
Does she skip school now?
Yeah. She's been in school probably maybe 2 weeks out of all that she's been.
That's the most school she's been to. Christina has told, Linda has told us that she has destroyed her room, broken mirrors, ruined furniture, right?
Yeah, she demolished her room. She had this real pretty mirror. She trashed it all over the place. Her room right now looks like it's the pits, what she left behind.
Do you feel that you can discipline her in any way?
No, because every time I'd say to do something, she comes back on me or just turns around and goes on her own. Okay. Or she always says, I'm going to call the cops if you do this or if you get that.
Now, you found out by accident that Christina has already gotten pregnant and had a miscarriage.
Yeah, she ran away. Her and the girl across the street took $900 from their dad, ran to...
Took or stole?
Stole it. And they took off and went to Louisville. They said they were going to start a new life. Well, when we got the girls back, we asked them what was wrong. And they said, nothing. We kept asking. And then she says, well, Christina had a miscarriage. It's like, what? I didn't even know the girl was pregnant. And so I had to take her to the hospital the next day because I found out she had had a miscarriage. And only 15 years old.
You told us that you feel that part of the problem is that we have laws today that make it impossible for you to discipline your child. What do you mean by that?
Well, lots of them. You're not supposed to whip your child. If you do anything that they don't like, they can call the cops and have parent abuse. I mean, my kids live on 911.
What does that mean?
That means like every time they don't get their way or they don't, if you go to whip them or punish them or say you can't do this, you can't do, I'm calling 911 and there they go, call 911.
And what is 911? What do they do?
It's emergency police.
No, I know what it is, but what do they do?
They don't, well, they'll come out, they'll start talking, or they'll say, well, this is a family matter, you take care of it yourself.
Do they come out to the house, though?
They have a couple of occasions.
Wow. Okay, it's time we met 15-year-old Christina. Christina, come on out. Christina, the reason they're making so much noise is it's not been a pretty picture that Mother has painted. Did you hear what she said?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me start by saying that when you and your mom were scheduled to fly to New York yesterday, you almost didn't get on the plane. You said you were afraid you might get in a fight with Mom.
Yeah.
Well, Mom says you start these fights, so why would you be
she runs her mouth, and that's what starts them.
Okay. Is it impossible for you to even get on a plane and travel with your mother without a fight?
We got on the plane, but she sat in the back, I sat in the front.
I know you don't like rules or curfews, and you destroyed your room at home, and you've run away. You get into fights?
Yeah.
Why?
Because, I mean, if somebody's going to run their mouth to me, I'm going to fight them.
Is that the way to solve? We were talking about that at the beginning of the show. Is that the way to solve your problems? If somebody runs their mouth at you, you just hit them.
Yeah, that's my way of solving problems.
Does that sound to you like an intelligent thing to do?
Huh?
Is that the intelligent way to be?
To me, yeah.
It is intelligent. Okay.
I'm so ignorant, but I'm getting by, ain't I?
Why do you not go to school?
Huh?
Why do you not go to school?
I don't like school.
You don't like
I see no sense in it.
Okay. And what is the problem with your relationship with your mother?
She's a bitch toward me.
What does she do that is bitchy to you?
She's forever, I mean, she thinks she can boss me around 24/7. I mean, she doesn't act like, no, see, you guys are taking her side. She does not act like a parent, okay? I know I've got an attitude, I mean, but that's my life. That's the way I want to live.
Why do you want to have an attitude?
Because it's me, I mean.
What do you mean because it's me? What is that? Is that justify it?
That's just the way I am.
She thinks she's mature. She says, I'm mature. I want to be on my own. I want to start a new life.
Baby, you young and you dumb. Okay? You young and you dumb. You're only 15, and when you turn 21, you probably be laying in the gutter somewhere dead.
That's what I'm worried about. I don't want her. I want her to straighten up. If she don't want to live with me, fine. But I want her to straighten up because I don't want to see her dead or hear a phone call from her saying, that's what scared me when she ran away to Kentucky. It's like Louisville, Kentucky. She's in a strange place. Something's going to happen to her. And I don't want that.
She may be crying here, but I mean, it's all a game.
Yeah, I cried in the car.
It is all a game.
She cried in the car. She gave me a hug and said, Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do this.
Yeah, I told her I was sorry.
Are you? Are you sorry?
Sorry
This
I
ain't
came
no
back.
game.
Sorry?
Sorry I came back to her.
Sorry you came back to your mother. Has mother been too strict with you or not strict enough?
Too strict. I mean,
Too strict. She's saying not strict enough.
She let me go for a while, and I mean, I got used to that. And then all of a sudden, bam, she's wanting to start tying me down to the house and stuff like that. Let me go out every other night. I mean, making me be home at 10 o'clock. Any other time, she was letting me go out every night from whenever I wanted.
So
until
mother suddenly
11
put
o'clock.
rules on you where there had been no rules.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was letting her go, but I found out she wasn't going to school. And see, our agreement was that she went to school.
And the reason I wasn't going to school is because she wouldn't let me go out. So I went to where
So you're going to
going.
punish her by not getting an education?
Yeah, it's
No,
coming
wait.
back on me.
Are you going to punish her by not getting an education?
She wants me to go to school. I'm not going because she wants me
So
to.
you're going to punish her?
Yeah.
In other words, you're smart enough to punish your mother and not get an education.
I'm not saying it's a smart choice. I'm not saying that. But I mean, I don't like school. I never have liked school. And I mean...
Okay. All right, we'll be right back.
If I couldn't fight, then I wouldn't enjoy it as much. But I know I can. So yeah.
What is so great about fighting?
What's so great about fighting? Well, if people start me, then I'm gonna fight them.
Oh, see, she attacked me, and I've got a bite right here. She bit me, and I had to go get a tetanus shot because she bit me, and my other daughter had to pull her off of me.
By the way, the whole statistics on patricide, which is killing your parents, have been doubling and doubling and doubling. Now I want you to meet Deborah. Her 13-year-old daughter, Candace, is backstage. First, Deborah, I want to give you a chance to tell us for yourself what Candace has been putting you through. And a lot of this is important to know that they're from Texas because there's some different things they do in Texas that they don't necessarily do in every state. You told us that Candace drinks, uses drugs, has run away 10 times this year.
Yes.
And she's violent?
Yes.
Okay. When did all of this start?
She was 11 years old when all of it started. So I've been going through it for almost 2.5 years. This year's been the worst. She's fought with me about everything. It doesn't matter what I tell her to do. She doesn't want to do it. I've had her in a home in Waxahachie, Texas. She got herself kicked out of there. She went to a public school there, and she fought with the principal, got an assault charge on her.
What do you mean fought with the principal?
The principal at school. He told her to do something, and she wouldn't do it. She said she didn't have to. So she hit him. And he filed charges, and then 3 other teachers. She hit them.
So you have a 13-year-old who
true.
cannot go to school. She's been kicked out of school till 1996.
Right.
She does not have to go to school,
And
so she lays around the house all day.
That's right.
Watches television. And you've gotten fined twice. Now,
Twice.
explain, in Texas, if your kid does something wrong, you get the fine?
Yes, they issue them a ticket. It's just like a speeding ticket. And one of them is for assault. That's a $500 fine. And then the other one was for disorderly conduct on the school bus, and that's $130.
What happens if you discipline her?
Oh, well, that's another story. That's another story. See, she attacked me, and I've got a bite right here. She bit me, and I had to go get a tetanus shot because she bit me, and my other daughter had to pull her off of me. It's because I tried to discipline her, you know, and now it's not that I'm a wimp or anything. I just back away from her because I don't want to have to go to jail. I've almost lost my job. And over this. I've been there 13 years.
I know there was an incident when Candace called the police to report child abuse. Why?
I slapped her.
By the way, you may be interested when we asked Candace how to pay the $600 in fines. She said, "Oh, I'll sell drugs or be a prostitute."
Yeah.
And that's how she's going to do it. Well, let's hear what Candace has to say. Candace, come on out. Candace, have you heard what your mother has said?
Yeah.
Is it true?
Yeah, but I didn't call the police on her whenever she slapped me. That was about a year ago when you slapped me.
Is the rest of it true, Candace?
Yeah.
Why do you behave this way?
Because she makes me mad. I mean.
Why does she make you mad?
The things she does, just everything she does, man.
Like, what does she do that makes you mad?
I can explain it. I know what I'm saying. But it's like.
Well then, if you're saying that you're mad, tell me what she does that make you mad.
If Candace would just take
I do worry
responsibility
about myself.
for her own actions and pay the consequence.
Do you enjoy fighting, Candace?
Yeah, I do, because I know I can. If I couldn't fight, then I wouldn't enjoy it as much. But I know I can.
What is so great about fighting?
What's so great about fighting? Well, if people start me, then I'm gonna fight them.
Oh. But what's so good about it?
What's so good about it?
Well, we'll be right back.
I have an 8-year-old son with epilepsy. My daughter takes and pounds his head into a freezer, puts the size of a golf ball in the back of his head, puts him into a seizure. She punches me. She's bloodied my lip. She kicks me.
Christina and Candace have told us that they really enjoy fighting. You have, what's with your knuckles?
What do you mean?
The knuckles on your left hand, they're all bruised. Why?
Oh, because I got a tattoo right here, 4 dots right here, but they were infected. The person who did it, she didn't know what she was doing.
That's nice. Okay, I just wondered if you were using your knuckles when you were fighting. Meet Cheryl. Cheryl told us that her 13-year-old daughter, Chrissy, is speaking of fighting, so out of control that she's gone to court to get a divorce from her own child. That's true?
Yes, ma'am. Why? I have an 8-year-old son with epilepsy. My daughter takes and pounds his head into a freezer, puts the size of a golf ball in the back of his head, puts him into a seizure. My son requires CPR. When he has these seizures, I have to do CPR on him to bring him back to life.
She knows that he's epileptic.
Oh, yeah.
She knows that if she bangs his head into a freezer, he can die.
Yeah.
His heart stops. He goes into a seizure.
Everything
and
stops.
yet she continues to do that.
Yeah, she don't care. Everything is, I don't care, or so what.
Why?
I don't know. I've done everything I can do. She punches me. She's bloodied my lip. She kicks me.
And yet you're afraid to hit her. Why?
Why? Because I'm afraid I won't be able to stop once I start hitting her.
I should tell people that as the show is being taped, you have no idea what will happen because Chrissy has a court hearing?
Tomorrow, yes, ma'am.
What are the what is the court hearing for? For beating up your son?
No, ma'am. It's for unruly child, her attitude, and threatening me to run away.
Okay. And what are the possibilities of what can happen to her?
Well, first, she could get probation to the end of the school year. Or second, she could be put on house arrest, which that wouldn't do us any good at all.
Because she'd beat up her brother,
right? Right. And the third thing is she could be sent to a juvenile detention center.
Have you gone for help?
I've been everywhere for help.
What do they tell you?
Well, right now she's got a counselor, and the counselor talks to us, and she tells us that we're the parents and she's the child. She's supposed to abide by my rules.
That's what the counselor tells you?
You're right.
So what happens? Doesn't work?
No, it don't work. She's in school. She goes to school every day, but yet she wants to fight with everybody. She doesn't care who it is.
All right, let's hear why she wants to fight. Chrissy, come on out. Chrissy, your brother is an epileptic. Can I ask why you would take an 8-year-old child and stick his head in the freezer?
Because he makes me mad and he pisses me off.
He's a sick child.
Yeah.
Do you think it's right that you should be able to do that to your brother?
No, but I do it anyway.
Why do you do it?
Because he pisses me off. And
Because if he's sick, he pisses you off.
Yeah.
But he's sick.
So?
Okay, I'm having a little trouble understanding what you're telling me. Why do you enjoy fighting?
Because it takes all the tension out of me and it's fun. I like seeing other people get beat up.
Why do you like seeing other people get beat up?
Because it's fun.
Doesn't anybody ever beat you up?
No.
No one has ever beat you up?
No.
Very interesting. Chrissy at 13 says, a lot of times I've just got to teach people a lesson. What lesson do you feel you're put here on earth to teach us all? Because we would all love to hear your lesson.
Tell people don't mess with me.
Your lesson is that we're not to mess with you.
Yeah.
Anybody feel that that's a good lesson, that makes sense as a lesson? No, it is kind of hard to think about it. All of this is correct in your mind, right? Everything you're doing is correct. Why? We don't seem to think.
Because I like to do it.
So you should be allowed to do what you want.
Yeah.
Because you're 13. Chrissy, your mother is so upset that she talked to a lawyer about giving up custody of you. How does that make you feel?
That was her decision, not mine.
Okay. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
These girls think that they're so tough, and I used to be just as tough. Then I went to boot camp for 6 months, and I don't want them to have to go through the same thing I went through, so I'm here to talk to them.
So it's a problem on every level, is it not? Candace, you're wearing the colors of Latin Kings?
Black and gold, yeah.
Sorry?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I right? Mm-hmm. There, in New York, there's supposed to be a pretty good group. Does your group condone where you are in Texas? Do they condone your type of behavior? Beating up people because you feel like it? Keep doing it to you?
Not because I feel like it. The OG, he's in jail right now. He teaches us. I'm the OG queen. He made me OG queen. He teaches us to let come to you. Don't start anything. Let it come to you.
But you start things.
No, I don't start things. I'm ready for things to come to me. I don't ever start nothing.
I see. Why is he in jail now?
He shot a man.
Did it come to him? He's a good leader then. Did it come to him or... Did it come to him?
No, it didn't come to him.
So he didn't practice what he preaches. How long is he going to be in there?
He'll be in there for about...
How long?
He goes to court. He'll be in the county for about a year before he goes to court.
And then?
And then he'll probably get life.
Life. So he won't be the leader anymore. Interesting lesson.
I don't know.
Want you to meet 15-year-old Cheyenne and her mother Gail.
It don't scare me, but it does scare me to think that I would ever kill somebody, you know. To think.
Do you think you'd kill somebody?
I mean, ain't you worried that someone's behind you going to shoot you because you're in this gang and they know that you hurt this person?
No, because if I get shot, then I know my homeboys and homegirls will take care of it.
Yeah, but if your homeboys and your homegirls ain't around, what happens if it's like one night you're out by yourself or something and they're not around?
I think you would find that very interesting. What would happen if that happened? Yes, ma'am.
No. Listen, you say you from where? Latin King?
I'm a Latin Queen.
Okay, let me ask you one question. You know the rules, right? The first thing that says in the rules is respect your parents, right? Yeah. All right then. So you right there, you would have been, you know what?
You would have been out. That's what I just said to her. That's what I said.
Yeah,
At least the rules in New York are respect your parents was number one. Your mother's here because you're not respecting her. How can you stay in this group? All right, now, let's meet 15-year-old Cheyenne and her mother, Gail. Cheyenne says she used to be like the other girls on our panel, till things went too far. Are you the one who said they ought to be sent to boot camp? Yes. They sent her to boot camp. So let's find out. First of all, let's find out what you were like. What were you like?
I stole cars. I ran away. I was disrespectful in school. I skipped school. I messed up my whole life because I had honors classes and A's, and everything went down. And my self-esteem was really, really low. Everything went horrible. Me and my mom's relationship got further and further apart. And at the time, I thought it was all good. I thought it was all fun and games, you know. Oh, yeah, I got this fine guy. And it was stupid. It was really stupid. And now I'm mature, you know.
Well, what happened? What is boot camp?
It was in the middle of the woods, and you live in a tent. You live outside the whole time you're there.
How long were you there?
I was there 6 months, in the middle of dead winter, in the middle of the hot summer.
Were you cold? Tell me what boot camp is like.
You get up. You have to get up on time. You have to do what they say.
Suppose you didn't.
Suppose you didn't? Then, first of all, there are 11 other girls there. You have to think about the other girls. You don't just think about yourself. You would get your ass whooped. I'm sorry. Why would they get their ass whooped? Because there are 12 girls in a group. You have to start thinking about other people. You have to get up on time. You have to go to school. If you don't go to school, then, oh, well, you don't eat. You know, I mean, you learn to live.
If you don't go to school, you don't eat?
Yes, you learn to live. And all this stuff about shooting men, you know, in the Bible it says that if you shoot a person, you are not killing them. If you sit there and talk to a person and make them feel lower, that's really killing a person. If you shoot a person, you are not killing them, you're killing yourself.
What would happen if somebody in your group, if one of the 12 girls got in trouble, what would happen to them?
Then all of you would get in trouble, and they have a place where you sit down and you have to talk about your problems. And usually if one person messed up the whole group, then the other girls would be on that one person.
What would your attitude be? You don't care?
I don't care. I mean, as long as I can take care of my own, I mean, that's me.
But you can't take care of your own out there. You got to take care of your own and 11 other people.
What else do they do to you? Now, this gentleman said that all 3 girls loved to fight. What would happen?
Oh, yeah, you could fight. But if you fought, then you'd have counselors restraining you on the ground. You'd get cut up, you know, and you think you're all that. But if you fight, then you don't get to go home. And then you don't get to see your homeboys or your homegirls or whatever. So what's the point of fighting?
All right. When did you start to change? What went through your mind?
That I want to get home, I want to go party, you know, and like right now, I still go out, I still party, I don't drink, and I don't do drugs, and I don't have unsafe sex, and I'm one person.
Did you know what your daughter was in for when you sent her to boot camp?
Yes.
Tell me about the day you dropped her off.
It was real hard. My brother went with me, and they do an inventory of all the stuff they have to make, and then they take basically a mug shot of the kid, front and side, in case the kid does try to run away. And my brother and I were getting ready to leave, and I said, "We're leaving now." And she said, "Okay." And she's standing across the room. "Okay." I said, "Do you want a hug?" "No." And then she come running over and hugged me, and then she started sobbing. That was the hardest part.
Leaving her was the hardest part. Was it a good thing for you, Cheyenne?
Yeah, and I think these girls need it.
Let's take a little break and we'll be right back. All right, let me just ask each of the girls two things. Where is your biological father? Is he part of your life?
He has been.
He has been.
Yeah.
Where is your biological father?
I don't know where he's at.
You don't know where he's at. Is he part of your life?
No.
Where's your father?
I have no idea. I guess he's in Florida.
Okay, there's a pattern that seems. Now, do you love your mother?
I love her, yeah. But, I mean, at the same time, I hate her.
Do you love your mother?
Yeah.
You do. Do you love your mother? Okay. Most of us as parents know when our children are doing something that's wrong, but we don't always know how to react or how to enforce rules. So we're going to ask relationship expert, Dr. Anne Renee Testa, for some help. And I don't know much about this boot camp thing that is happening. I think there are only 13 of them in the United States, something like that. But it seems like pretty strict stuff. They walk 5 miles a day. They do hard labor. They dig trees, put up tents. They even have to build a place for them to pee. They have no heating, no air conditioning. And they give you enough wood for 1 hour of a pot-bellied stove. It seems very strong.
Sally, you know what they're doing? They're getting back to basics, because that's what these girls need desperately.
Basics?
Yes, the basics of what discipline and boundaries are all about, because their moms, in all good consciousness, weren't giving them that themselves. As a result, they are parents who didn't know how to parent. They didn't know how to set limits. As a result, each one of the girls is so filled with rage at being robbed of not being parented. And you know something? I've said this before. Parents aren't given an instruction book. And I think that each one of the girls, each one of you needs to acknowledge the fact that your moms are really trying hard. They're doing what they can do, but they can't do any more. And it's time for you guys to separate. Each one of you need to be separate and find out who you are, because you're worth a lot more than what you're doing right now. And the way you do that, one of the ways is this boot camp, because it brings them right down to what reality is all about, because you're not living in reality and you're going to end up dead one day.
All right. Let's talk about Linda and Christina. Christina obviously feels that Linda's a really bad mother. First she was too lax, then she was too strict. Do a lot of parents do that?
That's exactly what it is, because you don't know how to parent really. You're trying hard, but you really don't know what the rules are and how to stick with the rules. So you need some guidance and help from someone out there, a psychologist or a psychiatrist, who can really help you with that. But they both need to be separate, Sally. They really
is. So that it's
well, we're separate. That's right. She lives with her boyfriend and a ton of people, and I live by mine.
You're still in control, and the way you can be in control and set boundaries is to get her into a place where she is not going to be able to get out, and she is going to learn what the rules of life are all about.
Well, she
and
was
then,
a juvenile for a while, but she came out good. She was on probation. She was an angel. And then she got off probation. She met this guy, and it's like,
no,
she loves
no
me when I'm good
guys.
to her, and she hates me when I don't do like what she wants.
And you know, you see something though. You both said you love each other, and
I
you
love her with all
have
my
to
heart.
get back to what the love is all about. But in order to find the love, you have to be able to separate, and not with your boyfriend, because I guarantee you, he's not the right guy for you. I never met him, but he's not the right guy for you.
Exactly. You've never met him. I mean, you can't.
I'm sure you think he's wonderful, but you're going to make the wrong choices because you're so filled with rage at not being parented the way you need to be parented.
She's done ruined that. I mean, she didn't bring me up as she was supposed to. She didn't bring me up as her daughter.
I didn't bring you up as a gang member or some fighter now.
And now,
when are you going to give that up?
Why I'm like this? She's paying the consequences for the way.
Really now? She's paying the consequences. I beg your pardon. She's the mom. You're the daughter. Okay? You are really angry at feeling that you've been robbed, and I understand that. Stop blaming your mother and take responsibility yourself, because that's what this is all about.
I know what I do is wrong. I know that. But I mean, also what she does is
You've
wrong.
already admitted to us
I was wrong,
that
but I have tried
most
to do
of what
good
you're
for
doing,
you too.
you're doing to try to hurt your mother.
Yes.
You're trying to hurt your mother by not getting an education,
And
hurt your
violence,
mother by doing it.
Sally, violence only gets more violent. So if you think you're accomplishing something, have you changed anything?
She knows not to hit me no more.
Let's talk about our other two
Okay.
families when we return.
When you went to boot camp, before you went, how did you feel? You felt like this, right? And that's really...
Yeah. Where did she go? There you are. I said, just stand there. I'll be right with you.
No, I wanted to ask her. I have a 17-year-old daughter at home, and I want each and every one of you all to know I would kick her butt so good that the police would have to come to get me off of her.
What about Deborah and 13-year-old Candace? What about Deborah and 13-year-old
I just want to comment. What you're talking about is boundaries, okay?
Yes.
And I've heard it from so many people in the audience. We're talking about boundaries. The one way, though, that doesn't work is violence and about kicking anybody's butt. Okay? Because what happens is violence does beget violence. And you, when you decide to have children, are going to have children just like you. And you won't like it very much. Okay?
Talk to 13-year-old Candace.
Candace, what do you hope to do with your life?
I don't know.
You don't know because you don't have any grounding and you don't have any center inside. Right now, there's an empty void inside and you're filling it up with rage. It's rage at your mother who's trying to mother you the best that she can. And remember those words, the best that she can. And you've got to begin to find out who you are and give up the rage because it won't help you, and take responsibility for yourself. Can you do that? How can you do it?
Stop. She wants me to stop blaming everything for her. She says I blame everything for her, so I guess that's the beginning.
It's taking responsibility. You can't stay at home. I mean, staying at home, hey, you can't do that, okay? It's not your right as a young person to stay at home. It's not normal, it's not natural. You need more than that. And your mom needs to find an agency that is going to take you out of that.
won't do that.
And they are out there, I'm telling you, and I'll help you with that.
Several agencies.
No, I have one, and I will help you with that.
I sure hope so.
And
nearby.
We can do that after.
What about Chrissy, who's 13? Now she's going back to, I think there were 3 choices. She either stays home with the shackle, which is she's going to beat up her brother, or juvenile detention.
You know, this is the bottom of the pit when you take your brother, who is epileptic. You have got to feel like a 0 person. to do that. I'm not saying this to you for you to feel guilty. I'm saying this to you so that you understand how very empty you are inside, that you have got to take out the anger that you have toward your mom, who's trying the best she really can, but she's got to learn some things, to take it out on your brother. It's so sad. And you need to have an understanding of what morals and ethics and what it means to be a human being, because you have it in there. You were born beautiful. You've got to get into yourself and find out how. Mom told me that she wanted to get on her motorcycle and kill herself and ride up a tree because Mom loves you so much, but she just doesn't know how or what to do for you. You have got to take responsibility, and I believe you've got to be separate from Mom. And Mom, don't you ever think of destroying yourself because of this.
We'll be right back.